So let's start today
Yes.
with littles, right? And we'll work our way up.
Yes.
But I want to talk about like when you first bring your babies home
Oh,
and
scary.
learning how to have grace with
Oh,
yourself.
for sure. Especially if it's the
With-
first one.
Yes. So we'll address that and then we'll address like when you get multiples because it's very, very different each
It's
time.
still kind of doable when you have
Yeah.
two because you've got two arms and then the third one.
Yeah. When they outnumber you, you're like, oh, yep. But you bring that first baby home and you have quite literally no idea what to do, even though you've read all the books and you've done all the classes and you've done all of that. And you're like, wait,
first one and the prep you put into it.
Oh, yeah. Did you totally prep for your first?
I read all this stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to, know it, everything, get it all right. And you're so excited and waiting that whole time. And then you have this baby and you're in the hospital and it's great. And they're doing
Isn't
a
it?
bath.
It's like a
and
little scene from a
so
movie.
good. And then you're in the wheelchair getting pushed out and you're like, oh, reality is really, really hitting hard.
Like you have a human in your arms.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that I talked to that didn't have
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that we did. Now, I had a crazy long labor with my first.
Okay.
He was 41 hours.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, see? So I'm all like, oh, well, that's great for you.
You
But my second two were very
Oh,
fast.
warrior.
My second two. But my first one, I had been dilated to a 1 for 6 weeks prior to having him.
I
He was
at
4
a
days
5
late.
for 4.5 weeks before I had him.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, the whole thing, you go through all of this, you think that you're prepared, you bring your baby home, and then you just kind of sit. I remember just sitting on my couch with the baby on my lap. I was probably nursing him or something.
Oh.
And just going, I've never felt so lost in my entire life.
What do I do?
And then you have like the super happiness because you're like, I have a baby. And then you have the super sadness 2 seconds later because you're like, oh my gosh, all this hormones are, washing over me.
Everything in
And
the
then you're trying to figure out if you're breastfeeding, you have to try to figure out,
Are they
like,
getting enough?
are you nursing them correctly? Why won't they latch? Why won't this? So the way that I would describe it is it's just messy. The
Yes.
first, I'd say 6 weeks to 3 months is just messy.
And we're not talking just diapers.
No, the house is messy.
Everything.
Your relationship, if you're married, is messy.
Yeah,
If you are
it
not
changes the
married, it's
dynamics.
messy. Like there's,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of times, like my husband and I went through a lot of the classes together and things like
Sure.
that, right? But again, I feel like some of it, and he can attest to it because he's sitting here, he felt left out for part of it as well because I was nursing the baby.
For sure.
24/7, that was my job, was to
Yes.
keep this baby alive,
Yes.
and functional and all of that. And so all of a sudden it went from like the two of us and, oh, we love each other and this is so wonderful and it's just the
Yeah.
two of us to this little invasion of all of that.
That
the
demands-
intimacy was gone and the,
Yeah.
the connectiveness, even the attention, all of that. If I had it to do again, I wish I would have known. I
Right.
wish I would have been more sensitive to that ahead of time
For
because
sure.
I became very, very selfish. Like, well, it's all about me right now. Like, we have to take care of me. And it was almost like he didn't even exist, And
Which
so I feel
can
like that's
cause that
really,
rift
it
in
was
a
horrible for
relationship.
our marriage.
And there can just be resentment of
Yeah.
this tiny little human that demands all your time.
Yes.
And that's just the thing. It hits real fast. This is a 24/7 job. This
It
doesn't
is.
go away. I'm never off the clock.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And
it's,
then I got someone sniffing around wanting attention. Are you kidding? But I'm like, well, of course, because that's my primary relationship. And
Oh,
all of a sudden
yeah.
it's like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. But to be able to, I guess, to talk about that ahead of time before you have the baby is so important.
yes.
Hey,
Yes.
you're going to be deprived for a little while and I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, because especially as a brand new mom the first time, you don't know what that feels like. Second, third, fourth, whatever, you're more prepared for
Oh,
it.
yes.
But that first time is so life-changing
Everything's new.
for you that, and then like I said with me, I had postpartum so bad and I didn't know it, right? So I was not aware of this.
Right.
I had to be told
Oh,
gently and wonderfully by my husband that I did.
yeah.
And he was like, hey, this is what I've been noticing. So then I talked to my midwife about it and, we were able to kind of
Yes.
navigate things. But I myself did not know that I was dealing with that.